If you're interested in comic book conservation, please join us on Facebook at the Comic Book Conservation Community, where we have a gathering of experts in the industry, and you can ask all of your questions that you need to know about what you need to do to conserve and preserve these beautiful works of art. Please join Dr. Paul from Liberty Hill Comics, Phantom Phil from Phantom Restorations, and myself, Captain Larry from Flying Elk Comics, every Sunday night on YouTube. At 8:35 p.m. Eastern, we talk about everything comic conservation and what's happening in the market. So please come join us. You can find us at Liberty Hill Comics on YouTube and Flying Elk Comics on YouTube. So let me walk you through this project. This is Planet Comics number 18 from 1942. It's what's known as a rivet book. Books 1 through 22 had these rivets in the planet word on the cover, and and they are basically a very sought after group of comics. So this particular one was in pretty bad shape. It had a lot of chunks missing out of the cover and a lot of pieces out of place. It had a horrible spine roll. It also had some basically what looks like chew marks, possibly bug or rodent. I suspect rodent. And so this book needed a lot of love. So, looking at the inside of the cover and the first wrap, it's got that nice creamy brown that's typical of a Golden Age book. We want to see if we can lighten this a little bit, clean it up, and this book is going to need a lot of leaf casting, which is really the direction we're going with it. So now that we have the book in the tray, let's take a look at this. As you can see, the cover is completely split. There's pieces missing, there's pieces folded over. This it's barely hanging together. This is really a great leaf casting project. So the first thing we want to do with this book is we want to get it clean. So we're going to go ahead and deacidify it, and we're going to use a little bit of surfactant in the calcium hydroxide. Now, what we really want to do, there's the pieces for the spine are still there. They're just folded over. So what we want to do is go ahead and get this wet, and we'll very carefully lift up the Hollytex, and using our spatula, we're going to fold over really from both sides the pieces and try to fill in this spine as best we can. We don't want to add too much leaf casting material if we don't have to. So, as my friend Rick Morgan at Immaculate Comics would say, wet paper is weak paper, so we're very careful how we handle everything here. Now, I have a piece of Hollytex on both sides of this book, so we can easily manipulate it and flip it over. So we'll go ahead and turn this over and take a look. I know we have some pieces that are still folded over, so we'll peel the Hollytex back on the back side of this book now. So coming in here with the spatula, we'll carefully fold these pieces over. So once we do this, this makes working on everything a lot easier. We can see what's missing, we can see what's there. So this book does have a lot of dead space, some empty holes where the material just is not there. Corners, edges, but we're going to do our best to locate what we've got and fold it back into position. So again, very carefully, we'll manipulate everything in here. Now, like I said, this paper is really weak. It's wet. It's already brittle. So be very careful when we're doing this sort of work. So everything here seems to be in order. There's not much that we can do about the chunks that are missing. So let's flip this cover wrap back over. We'll take another look at it. It's been soaking in the calcium hydroxide and surfactant for quite a bit. Now, normally when we deacidify a wrap, we will do this, usually about 3 times. But since this is going to be leaf casted, we need to be very careful, especially with these Golden Age books, because they start shedding ink as soon as that basically that sizing, that stiffness that's in the paper starts dissolving. So we try to keep it minimal in here. But right now, this looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and drain this off, and we'll go ahead and move this over to the full submersion leaf casting tank. So this is a full submersion leaf casting table that I had built. So what we're looking at is the front side of the comic. I just wanted to show it to you. We're going to carefully flip this over, and we always leaf cast from the back side of the wrap. That way it gives the best presentation on the overall appearance of it on the front. So we've now flipped it over. This is our working side. So the pieces have been positioned as best they can, straightened out, it's flat, it's ready for the flooding of the tank and the addition of uh, the leaf cast pulp. Okay, so we're fully ready, it's fully submerged, and we're going to go ahead and add our pulp. Now, there's about 6 inches of water from the top to the bottom where the comic is. So I'm gradually adding in this liquid pulp, and we're going to mix it all in. It's going to be nice and cloudy. And no, I'm not measuring everything out. So I'm just kind of doing everything by feel and by look and just really just by experience to what I think is enough pulp to properly fill all the gaps. So we'll start the drainage process, which pulls the pulp into the empty voids in the cover wrap. And as the drain starts, we can go ahead and pull the weights off, lift the grid, and everything stays in place. Now I'm going to go ahead and speed this up uh, a little bit so you can get through all the the visuals of this. Now we'll go ahead and brush away any of the loose pulp so it doesn't get pulled into or lay down on top of the areas of the wrap we don't want it to.
Okay, we got the Planet Comics number 18. Now, this fresh out of the submersion tank for leaf casting, so we've got all of this. It's all fresh. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit, of course, but all in all, it's nice and strong now. Everything's really wonderful. The colors are great. There's a few areas, light areas, that I wanted to point out that leaf casting is not perfect. Well, at least not for me. So I got a couple of areas right here. I got a little bit of a lift there on the corner, and there's this split. It didn't pull the cast in here. Now, that may have been my fault because what I used today was 100% Abaca, which is super strong paper pulp. However, the fibers are long, and so it doesn't get that really fine, thin pulp to go into the cracks. So I feel the texture is a little bit rough, down the sides, which is okay. This is all going to get trimmed off. The only part we care about are these little fill pieces in the middle. The spine is, this thing sat in the press under, great deal of pressure. And so I think it is formed out really nice. So what we'll do is get it all cleaned up, trimmed up. Then we're going to see if it needs some sizing, which I suspected it will. It's been punished a lot. Now, just to be clear, I have used this as a test bed for the immersion tank for the full submersion leaf cast. This is actually been through the leaf casting process. I believe this is the third time. The first twos were they were complete failures. So I'm happy the way it looks, especially being run through the tank this many times. I have a few things, because this I when we went into the tank, I had to place pieces in here. And I had to place them in from the back side. So it was really difficult to line them up. As you can see, this one is not correct. It's slightly askew, but it's locked in place now. It's there. I'm not going to take it apart, of course. So yeah, I had to work from this side, and so I'm putting all these little pieces in, from the back side, and it made it incredibly challenging. So we'll get this cleaned up. We'll check the flexibility. I think because of everything, it's a little bit thin through here. In a couple areas, it's thin. Didn't really fill in. We'll go ahead and reinforce the spine with some Japanese paper, and then we'll shape it so it actually kind of looks like a comic book again. Okay, so we've got the cover trimmed up, all the excess paper. We did have a little bit of separation right here. This is something that couldn't be helped. I'll show you what it looks like on the back side here. There were so many pieces involved here, and they're all a little jigsaw puzzle, and I just had a little lift right there. So what we're going to do is put this back down. I am going to run some Japanese paper through here just to reinforce all this. Now, the original crease, I took some measurements actually, and it's not dead center. You can see it, the fold is right here. I'll show you in the back side, rather than the front side, I should say. So the original fold, you put that cover over to that cover, is right here where this crack runs down here. So a little bit of the purple rolls around to the outside. So for the most part, it should look pretty good. There's just the cover showing. Now, this is not an exceptional book. I mean, this was a it was a project book. It was a science experiment because this was the very first book that I put into my homemade submersion chamber. So I picked it up like this. So anyway, I think for experimental wise, I think it did okay. We lost some paper up here, and I'll have to sort that out. It just didn't get a good bond. And we lost a corner down here, but it's on the back side of the book. So, yeah, we'll see. So the front side looks pretty good. I trimmed up. All these gaps are filled in. I squared it up. It is paper, so it shouldn't be considered fill by grading purposes. This should still be a conserved book. I'm expecting, a 2 for this book, but it's way better than it was. So we'll go ahead and get this addressed. We'll get it cleaned up. We'll put the Japanese paper in to seal all these tear seals. Got a little bit of a split over here. And we're going to leave this as is. And then we'll start working on the interior pages.